guys, it's Ariana. Welcome back to my channel. So for tonight's video, we're going to be reading some more scary stories. So I did not film this look that I'm wearing tonight because I really just wanted to get to these scary stories as quickly as possible because I'm trying to rush and beat my roommate from coming home, because when he comes home, it's always really loud because we have 3 dogs and they go crazy. So I'm trying to get through this video as fast as possible before he gets home from work. So I didn't film this video, but if you guys are interested in this makeup look, let me know in the comments down below and I'll definitely film it on Instagram or TikTok for you guys, because it's a very easy look to do, but it's really, really pretty. This lipstick that I'm wearing didn't go on as nicely as I was hoping it would. It is the, I don't even know where I put it. It's the Lime Crime. It's a brand new lipstick. I just picked it up a couple of weeks ago. It was like buy one, get one. This is the Lime Crime in the shade Salem, which I believe I've had before. So I remember having this exact lipstick like years and years and years ago, and I really liked it. It's like this really pretty kind of like reddy brown color, and I'm pretty sure I have like a used open one like over in my makeup lipstick area, and I haven't used it in so long. And then they had the sale, it was buy one, get one, and I really wanted to try their black lipstick. So I picked it up again, and that's what I'm wearing tonight. I keep hitting my lights and making noises everywhere. Oh my God, okay. So if you didn't watch my last video, my nails that I'm wearing tonight are from the brand Scorpio Nails. They're actually my friend's brand. She creates these really, really cute designs. They're stick-on nails, and I love them. I have a discount code in my description box down below if you guys are interested, so you can go down to my description box and you can save some money if you do like stick-on nails. She has like an Etsy shop and like her own little website. So if you're interested in really, really cute stick-on nails, highly recommend them. They are amazing quality. They feel like acrylic. They sound like acrylic. I have a review up on my channel before I actually met her and became friends with her, of me just reviewing her nails, and her nails are amazing. So you can go watch that. I'll link it up in the eye. I think I got like Ouija board nails or something. They were awesome. I have, as per usual, my Wicked candle in here, not lit, just smells like caramel apples, and I'm ready to jump into some spooky stories. So let me just pull them up quickly. I got approval from about 3 Reddit users, and I've also gotten sent in a couple stories from Instagram. So this is from the Reddit user Priestess of Spiders, and it's from the no sleep section. So I'm gonna give you a trigger warning here. It is kind of a gory story. It does have a death in it, and it's really, really creepy. So if you want to jump to the next story and you're not into like death and gore and stuff, then I'll leave timestamps down below for you guys. You can skip to the next story, but I'm really excited to read this one because it's really creepy. And the title is You Should Be Afraid of Water Slides. The air was filled with the stink of sweat and chlorine as I ascended the steps to the newly completed water slide. It was advertised proudly as the tallest in a 100-mile radius, and I believed it. I've never dealt well with heights, and looking down over the edge of the railing made me feel quite queasy. I wasn't sure how I was going to endure actually sliding down the attraction itself. My boyfriend, Craig, squeezed my hand slightly. The grip comforted me. It reminded me that I was safe and stable, not falling to my death on the concrete below. "Are you okay?" he asked, looking at me worriedly. "Yes, I'm sorry, I'm fine. I'm just a bit nervous about the height." I felt embarrassed. Craig was always such a thrill seeker. He was into roller coasters, hang gliding, he even went skydiving once. I didn't want to ruin this for him. Someone behind me in the line yelled for us to get moving, so I snapped myself out of my fear and kept climbing up the stairs. The wind made me nervous. You could feel ever so slightly how the structure would move with it, like the breathing of some giant animal. I felt like I was a mile up in the sky, even though the water slide's full height was only a little over 70 feet. After what felt like hours of climbing, we reached to the top. The round entrance of the slide yawned before us. It reminded me of the mouth of a basking shark. Water rushed down the tube, creating a constant, gentle roar that made it a little difficult to hear. One by one, the park patrons in front of us were guided by the bored-looking attendant into the slide, after which he'd start a stopwatch and look at it for about 30 seconds. I figured that was how he made sure that nobody bumped into one another on the way down. Eventually, it was just Craig and I left in line. I was shaking, extremely nervous, and Craig could tell. He put a hand on my shoulder and told me, "It's gonna be all right, Stephanie. I'll see you down at the bottom." His gold tooth, a souvenir from an accident while rock climbing, glinted faintly in the sun as he smiled at me. The attendant motioned for Craig to go next, and with a last loving look towards me, he was pushed down into the slide, whooping and laughing as the rushing water carried him down. The park attendant started the stopwatch. I felt like time was ticking away in my head, second by second. While I knew I'd be able to do it, I was still nervous, and I felt like time slowed down as my heart pounded like a jackhammer. Finally, The attendant motioned me forward. I stepped towards the slide entrance, about to close my eyes and rocket down the cool water to my boyfriend, when suddenly, I heard the sound of attendant's radio go off. "John, don't let anyone else go down. We have a problem. The last 3 people didn't come out on the other side." I stopped, still as a statue. I was inches away from the slide entrance. If that message had come a couple seconds later, I could have gone down as well. This fact still haunts me. We were escorted down to the bottom of the slide, though there was much grumbling from the various bratty teenagers and crotchety old tourists. Most went off to the other attractions in the park, but I stayed at the bottom, nearly petrified with fear. I saw 2 paramedics climb up to the top of the ride and feared the worst. They carried a long coil of rope. I assumed to try to pull out the trapped park-goers. Water was no longer flowing out of the end of the slide, so they must have turned it off to make sure that no one was hurt or drowned due to the blockage. I waited for 5 minutes, then 10, then 20. Nothing. The paramedics were still up there. My heart was beating so fast, I thought it would explode in my chest. I never before felt so powerless in my entire life. The smell hit me first. It was acrid and acidic. The kind of smell that makes you want to gag. A trickle of greasy, chunky, yellow-green fluid seeped out at the end of the slide. Then came the sound of rushing water. I was initially overjoyed. I thought maybe someone threw up, but that they were able to get them out, that Craig would be safe. I was wrong. A stinking turret of reeking slime and bloody chunks of meat rushed out at the end of the slide, the spray splashing on my face. It burned as I screamed and wiped it off. I could see bones and organs floating in the disgusting slop, sizzling as they were slowly dissolved. Out of the muck, a horrible, dissolving figure tried to crawl out, a barely humanoid mass of melting flesh and partially exposed bones. It raised its head towards me and moaned something that sounded Stephanie before its lower jaw fell off, landing on the floor with a sickening plop. I screamed when I saw the gold tooth shine out of the rapidly liquefying flesh. I don't know what happened to Craig. The official story is that somehow some clogged dissolving fluid got accidentally mixed into the water instead of chlorine. But that's a lie. It doesn't explain how he vanished for 20 minutes. It doesn't explain how the paramedics' 100-foot coil of rope never reached the bottom of a 70-foot tall water slide. It doesn't explain why the remains smelled like stomach acid, not lie. I don't think I'll ever get an explanation. All I know is that I will never go down a water slide again. And that's how they ended the story. I'm sorry if you guys hear the cars. The cars are driving me fucking crazy. They are so fucking loud. Like, listen to this. So fucking loud. So rude. I'm so tired of living on this fucking main road. It is awful. Trying to get in the spooky mood, trying to get into the spooky stories with you guys, and all I hear going by every fucking 2 minutes is like, shut the fuck up. Why do you have to have such a loud vehicle? Be quiet. Like, why? Why? There's no reason that your vehicle should be so fucking loud that I can hear it through goddamn walls and windows through my house. I hate it. Anyway.
1 minute later.
That story is really creepy. So that's from the No Sleep section. So obviously that one is fictional. I'm assuming that didn't happen. No Sleep is kind of like a fictional Reddit area where some people can tell true stories, but the majority of them are fiction. So that was just a really creepy story. I'm hoping it's not true. Like, no, thank you. Thank you so much for letting me read your story. I'm going to jump over to the next one. So the next one is from the scary story section, I believe. Conversation Big 4933. She said her name is Holly O'Neill. So thank you so much to Holly O'Neill for allowing me to read your story. I'm super excited. It's really, really awesome and really creepy. And let's just jump into it. So the title of this story is Something is in My TV, Something Alive, and I Don't Know What to Do. It started around 11 p.m. I was aimlessly looking through iPlayer, constantly browsing Top Gear, Sherlock, etc., looking for something to fill the volatile silence which consumed my bedroom. I bought my TV 4 months ago, off an ad on eBay. It was cheap for a smart TV, but the remote isn't the most amazing, and the TV sometimes crashes, which, as expected, comes with an older TV. But I don't think this thing has come from the previous owner. It was a quiet night. The best way I can describe it is the quiet before a thunderstorm. The gut-wrenching quiet in which you know something is coming out, but you don't know when. A foreboding sensation. All of a sudden, my TV crashed. Not exactly unheard of. I start to reboot it. As usual, it all comes on, except, however, I hear tapping at the window. A patterned tapping, which almost makes me jump out of my bed. I'm the skeptical type, so my heart felt like I was going to leap out of my chest. I turn the light on and wait for it to go. It did after about 20 seconds, and I assured myself, it was just rain. The weather did say scattered showers, and my window was shut, along with my blackout curtains. I shook it off and returned to my TV, turning on my iPlayer when all of a sudden the screen became distorted. The suggestions all scattered in disfiguring pattern, with the words taken from the bottom suggestion spotted amongst the random coloration of different shows, the words "seeing is deceiving" in red, moving in an unusual way, almost as if the words were trying to escape whatever was holding them captor. As you can imagine, I was horrified and immediately tried turning off my TV. It wouldn't budge, so I tried turning it again for a good minute, hearing my heartbeat course through my eardrums until finally it turned off. I again, trying to reassure myself and keep that part of my mind from overthinking, I turned the TV on again. Holding back my stomach from turning itself outwards, it turned on as normal and I was happy. I switched onto an episode of Top Gear and it played as normal. Now, I'm an insomniac and I really struggle to fall asleep at night. I try to drown myself with boring stuff to help me sleep as part of my routine, and at this point, maybe 11:30, 11:45, I was not tired, like at all. Sitting bolt upright in bed, I got this incredible urge to go to sleep, which is unfamiliar. And if this happens, I would usually thank the Lord and try to get some rest. But for some reason, my gut kept telling me not to. This time, I listened to that, but I just couldn't help it. I shouldn't have fallen asleep, but I did. Still completely upright in bed, passed out. I don't remember what time, but God, I shouldn't have fallen asleep with the TV still playing. When I woke up, it was maybe 4 a.m. Still, that quiet, still humid darkness outside my bedroom that I had grown familiar with. I was confused and out of it and realized I was still sitting upright. Almost unheard of. I never sleep upright. Not on planes, cars, chairs, nothing. The glaze over my eyes started to fade and a horrible realization came over my body. I started to tremble, my organs in my body swilling around in there like they were in a roller coaster. Instead of Top Gear still playing, there, on my TV, was a face staring at me. A face I can best describe as human. However, the features were warped in a way a child would draw a human. Not quite right, but with the intentions of looking like a human. Its smile was too wide. Blonde hair sprouting out like a scientist. Glaring black eyes that were not level nor the same shape staring into mine. I knew it was looking at me, analyzing me, with the same red words bouncing around the screen. Seeing is deceiving. I leapt up and scrambled looking for a remote, bed sheets flying through the air, clothes going every which way possible until I spotted it. Underneath that window, which made the tapping noise. All while that thing, that creature, analyzing and evaluating me through the screen, I grabbed the remote, breathless and exhausted, frantically turning the TV off. It's now 5:30 in the morning while I write this. I haven't turned my TV back on and I want to burn it. I don't know what to do. That gut-curdling feeling hasn't left my system, and my parents will look at me like my last brain cell has left if I try to explain to them what just happened. But for some reason, deep down, that thing wants me. I don't know what for, but it wants me. And I feel like it's already advanced. I just don't know what into yet. And that's how the end of the story. Oh my God, that's really creepy. So like just waking up in the middle of the night at like 5 in the morning or 4 in the morning to just something staring at you on your TV screen, and it's just paused and it's just looking at you, and if you can see that it's moving and it's just staring at you, fuck that. I would yeet that TV out the window. It would be gone out of my life forever. Fuck that. That's terrifying. But like I said in my last videos, I'm the biggest chicken. I love reading these stories, but if anything ever like remotely scary happened to me like that, I don't know what I would do. I would probably die just from being scared. And I'm going to jump onto one more story. So we are at the 17-minute mark. So this is going to be a little bit longer than my usual videos. I'm hoping probably around the 20-minute mark. I did a poll up on my community tab just asking you guys if you like the 10 to 15 minutes style videos or if you like 20 to 30 minute. And the majority of you guys chose the poll that you like longer videos, about 20 to 30 minutes. So that's what I'm gonna try to aim for with these videos. So I'm hoping you guys stick around. So the author of this story is Teddy the Epic Noodle, and this one is titled There's a Thing in the Woods. A shrill cry echoed in the mist. It stung my ears. It sounded like it was far, but very close at the same time. I was unnerved, as anyone would be. I felt like it was trying to tell me something, to get out of its woods right this second, or else I wouldn't make it back to my pack. I cried again, louder, closer, and then all of a sudden, I heard one of my kind. His growls sounded stronger than mine, but still not like he could take down the huge sounding beast. I did my best to get to him, Everyone knows that 2 wolves are better than 1. I don't know if he heard that haunting shriek, but I took a wild guess and thought, how would you not hear that? And ran faster and faster to get to him. And then, when I was closer than I ever was, I saw what I thought was the ugliest, most horrifying beast to ever exist. Knock that other wolf down and then stare at me as if I was next. I was torn. That wolf wasn't dead, and it would haunt me for the rest of my life if I just left that wolf to die for my own life. I stood there, that other wolf bleeding openly now, and decided. I ran back as to get the beast to follow me in its heavy footsteps, and then looped around and grabbed that other wolf by its scruff. It wasn't easy, as he wasn't a ton smaller than me, but I managed. It just made me a heck of a lot slower. I continued to push on, running as fast as anyone could with a near-dead wolf in their mouth, but it was still faster than the beast. All of a sudden, I saw a blast of light. I had to squint. The light was so strong, I thought it could have blinded me. And then, I found myself back in my pack, with the alpha wolf standing over me. I don't know what had happened, and just 2 seconds ago, I was carrying a bleeding, almost dead wolf in my mouth, and I was running away from that terrible monster. Then I realized the whole thing must have been one long, big dream. When I set up to feast on our freshly caught elk, I still heard the ringing in my ears of that wolf's growl, and then I heard it again, closer now, but this time it wasn't in my head. And that's how they ended the story. So that one is just a fictional story. Obviously, they're talking about werewolves, and I just thought it was really cool. Plus, he or she made a little note at the bottom that said, P.S. I'm very much not a professional. I'm just starting middle school, and I love writing specifically about wolves and dogs. So with that being said, sorry if my story is kind of bad. I'm a beginner. Your story is not bad. You're in middle school and you're writing like that? Oh my God, 10 out of 10. I loved that story. It was a very short story, but I could visualize the whole thing in my head, and it was written so well. And just the fact that you're so young and you're writing like that, oh my God, you have such a career in writing stories. I'm so excited for you. I hope everybody loved that story as much as I did, because I love werewolves, I love vampires, I love anything fictional, anything creepy, obviously, as you guys are on my channel, but anything that's just like spooky and werewolfy and vampire, I'm totally into. So I loved that story. It's a very short story, but I thought that they did such a good job that I wanted to share it with you guys. So that one is obviously a fictional story, and I believe it is in No Sleep. Oh, it's actually in the scary story section. So if you guys are interested in following along or going and reading more of these authors' amazing stories, I'll link their stories all in my description box down below, so you guys can either follow along or you can go follow them on Reddit. I love Reddit. Reddit is so much fun for finding scary stories. So if you are like me, obviously, because you're watching this video and you love scary stories, I love Reddit for this because they have such amazing creative authors and just the craziest stories. I think maybe I'll read one more and then I will call it a day. I'm gonna go to my Instagram and I'm going to find the story that somebody just sent me a couple of days ago and read that one because it's not too long and there was a couple of updates. So this one is from a girl that follows me on Instagram. Her name is Sierra. So she doesn't have a title or anything because she just DM'd me it. I'm excited to read it. She said, "Hi, I've just finished binge watching your spooky stories, so I figured I'd send my own if that's still okay. I'm not very good at explaining things, so I'm sorry if it isn't particularly easy to understand. I'm happy to clarify if anything is unclear. A few bits of context. This happened when I was 15 and my parents were super strict, which meant I wasn't allowed to be home alone. My older sister was getting dropped off to the airport by my parents, so my uncle was coming over to stay with me for a few hours while they were gone. He wasn't supposed to be over for a little while, and I don't live in the safest country in the world, so we have security cameras installed at the front door. I don't tend to use them, not for any reason, I just don't like them. About 10 minutes after my parents leave, I hear the doorbell ring, so I just assumed it was my uncle. He was supposed to have a key, but I just assumed he had forgotten it. I go and open the door, but there's no one there. It was annoying, but it was whatever. All the doorbells sound the same, so maybe it was just the neighbors. I go back in and barely make it up the stairs before I hear the doorbell again. I go to check the door about 3 times before there's a proper break, and I manage to go back to my room. I thought it was some kids just being funny and ringing my doorbell, or maybe my doorbell was just malfunctioning. I remember it was just annoying. When I'm settled again in my room, I hear the doorbell again. And so this time, I decided, you know what? I'm just going to check the camera because I really can't be asked to be tricked by a bunch of annoying children. When I open the camera, I see a woman I don't recognize. Security camera footage is never really that great, and the angle is a bit awkward, but I can't see her face. I rewind the camera just a little bit and notice she's been stood there this whole time. I see on my camera that I look directly at her and go back inside. What the fuck? I am 100% sure I would have seen her if she was there, but she was there. I send a screenshot to my parents and just hide and cry. My parents tell my uncle and he rushes over earlier than he had planned. It was very scary. I made him work next to me while I fell asleep. I now still check who is knocking through the security cameras before I open the door out of fear. We moved 4 years ago and I've not experienced anything else since. There have been some other strange instances while living in that house, and I'd be happy to send more over if you want to read them. Sorry I had to split this up like this. Instagram is weird about the length, and that's totally fine. I don't care. I like it when they're broken up, so it makes it a lot easier for me to read. And she actually gave us an update. So she said, story number 1. When we were moving into that house, we always encountered a bunch of strange situations that we didn't think too much of. Doors being opened when we had left them shut, lights, windows, etc. Nothing was ever that weird, except for this one time. For a small bit of context, to get out of the street I lived on, you needed to go forward slightly and do a U-turn, so kind of like a cul-de-sac. One of my cousins was helping us move in. She dropped off some boxes by herself, and then, like I said, left and did a U-turn. However, after doing the turn, she noticed a woman standing in the window of the stairs and just assumed it was my mom, and she didn't notice her enter. After all, due to the U-turn, it was entirely possible that they didn't cross paths while she was leaving. She came by our old house that we were still staying at the next day to pick up some more boxes. She had asked my mom what she was doing at the new house as she thought my mom had work that day. We were all confused. My mom was not at that house that day. Nobody was at the house. There was no explanation as to who was there that day. Story number 2. This happened when I was in my penultimate year of high school. I don't know what that means. I live in Canada. We just have like grade 10, 11, 12. I don't know what that means. So this happened when she was in high school. She was coming home very late from a school dance. It was 10 p.m. and my dad was driving around to pick me up when I get a call from my mom asking us if we had someone over. We both said no and questioned her further. At first, we didn't think about it too much because my mom is quite ill and so has bad senses. Despite everything, I'm still also skeptical about ghosts. I don't know if I believe these stories are actually paranormal, but rather I just don't have the correct answer. I don't know. I think I'd rather it not be paranormal though. When we get home, the house has been taped off because an intruder, apparently, my sister had informed my mom about seeing a woman walking behind the house from her window, corroborating her story and convincing them both someone had broken in. There was no way for her to escape as we lived in an area with high security that had arrived within minutes after my sister phoned them in. She was locked behind the house, and the gate behind the house is extremely high. Unless you had a ladder or were at least 8 feet tall, there was very little chance of you climbing it. Don't deny that she could have been very good or talented at climbing, but it's weird that despite having my house cornered off, nothing was ever found. Not a trace of her being there. You'd think if she went through the effort of climbing in, she would take something or at least leave a mark. This one is much older than my previous ones, so I may have misremembered, but this is my first experience of what may be considered paranormal, and it freaked me out so badly when it happened. My mom travels a lot for work, but as a small child, it happened so much I would often forget the days she was gone. I was small enough that I was still sharing a bed with my mom. On the nights that my mom was gone, my dad would come in and stay in place of her and my sister, and I found it difficult to sleep without an adult present. I remember one night waking up and noticing a woman in what looked like my mom's pajamas. I just assumed she was going to get some water or something. I don't really know, but I just knew my mom was leaving. I was confused and laid there for a few minutes waiting for her to come back. About 30 minutes later, my dad entered the room. I asked him where mom went. He answers, "She's gone to America." I ask, "When?" He answers, "She left yesterday." So obviously, my follow-up question is, so who is the woman who just left a bit ago? There's apparently no woman. I swear up and down she was there. I felt the bed moving as she got up to leave. Maybe I was just dreaming or something, but I'm very convinced something was there. Oh my God, and that's how she ends her stories. That's terrifying. Okay, so you had so many encounters of like your multiple houses of just like a woman being there. Like, I wonder if this woman is like attached to you guys, like your family in general, or attached to the houses. That's terrifying. I have never seen anything like that, and I'm so thankful that I've never had anything like that happen to me in real life, because that would terrify me, especially being such a young child with expecting your mom to be there and seeing your mom there, and then all of a sudden your dad reassuring you that your mom's been gone for like a day. That's terrifying. So somebody was like on the bed sitting next to you and they weren't actually there, but it was like a person, but like a ghost. Oh my God. No, thank you. So we're at the 31-minute mark, so I'm hoping this video is a little bit longer and you guys get enjoyment out of the longer stories. So thank you so much to Sierra for allowing me to read your stories. Your stories were amazing, and oh my God, that's terrifying. I'm hoping that as an adult now, you don't experience these things unless you want to, I don't know, but it's terrifying and I don't want to experience them. So I'm hoping things have calmed down for you, and thank you so much to all the authors that sent their stories in and allowed me to read their stories. I am so thankful that you guys are enjoying this kind of series up on my channel. I'm starting to obviously create this content more often for you guys because you guys have really been enjoying it and my channel is actually starting to take off. I'm so excited for that. So thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys did enjoy this video, please make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below for more content like this, and I will see you guys at the next video. Bye.